part. Modern meat production has become something so distant from Lassie and Timmy running around on the farm, from the images that those photographs conveyed, from the feelings the California Milk Board is exploiting when they have their happy cows come from California ads, buy California cheese because it comes from happy cows. I joined PETA in suing the California Milk Board about those ads because there's no truth in them at all. You can't label a product as organically grown if it isn't. That's a violation of the law because people will pay more for organically grown food. It's something that many people value to the extent that they will pay a premium for it. People are increasingly valuing humanely raised animal products. When they say, oh, our cheese comes from happy cows, they're lying and they're exploiting those people who care. The more I learned about the way animals are treated in factory farms, the more frightened I was, because I knew I had to act. I knew I couldn't stay put. I couldn't remain complacent. I couldn't just turn away anymore. There was no place to turn away to. Everywhere I looked, I saw it. Everywhere I was, I felt it. The crime against our nature, the violation of the human-animal bond, the sacrilege, the irreverence, not in the sense of joyful, playful, but in the irreverent sense of desecrating. And I want to emphasize the severity of it. You don't have to be a vegetarian or a vegan. You don't have to be an animal rights activist. You don't have to be a particularly empathic person. If you see it, if you see how severe it's become, to be appalled. And I had an experience of that with Julia Child. Julia Child was not sympathetic to animal rights at all. And she actually used to mock vegetarians at times. And I had a number of conversations with her. She was rough to contact around these issues. She was a very nice person other than that, but around these issues, she was really set in her thinking. Veal? Delicious. Veal calves? Don't want to hear about it. Except that one day she and I were at a conference outside of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania, and I knew where there were some veal barns in the area. And I said, can I take you to them? Do you want to see where the veal, that, you know, this sweet, tender thing you like so much, where it comes from? No, she said. But I talked her into it. We went. She was very moved. And she said to me, I had no idea it was this extreme. What she saw that day, by the way, it was a barn. And it was standard, the way it's done. There were these little stalls. I mean, really little. They were maybe 3 feet wide, and in each of them was a veal calf, a baby calf. They're brought in usually within 24 hours of their birth. And they're chained at the neck by a very short chain. It's so short that they can't take a step. Maybe sideways a little bit, but the walls of the stall are there. They can't back up. They can't even descend down into their normal sleeping position. They have to, in order to sleep, they have to kind of hunch because their necks are, the chains are so short. And this is where they remain for 4 months. They don't move. They're fed a diet that's deliberately designed to make them anemic so that their flesh will not attain a reddish color. It's called milk-fed veal. They're not fed the milk of their mothers. They're fed government surplus dried skim milk powder and a bunch of petroleum byproducts and a diet deliberately devoid of all iron. And they suffer. They want to suck their baby calves. When you get near them, and I would put my hand, they would try to suck anything, an umbrella, a handbag, an elbow. They just craved. They just craved. And none of those cravings were satisfied. Their need to move, to lay down, to sleep naturally, to be with their mothers, it was all of it. And so that's what I showed her. And I think, and when I saw even Julia Child at a very advanced age, and as we get older, we tend to become, a lot of times, more rigid in our thinking and less open to change. And here was a woman who's, of course, her whole, like my dad, her identity was as a foodie, as an expert in these things. And to change her thinking at that time, I wish she'd been more vocal and public about what she said to me. But it's up to us to be vocal and public. And when I was afraid because I was seeing this and I knew I had to change my life and I knew I had to change, I had to come out of my shell. I had to speak about it, become visible, become public, become known for the stands I was going to take, that this is wrong, that we can do better, that we have to do better, that it's a violation of our spirits, of ourselves, of our compassion. We need to honor our compassion, our capacity to care. And if we don't do that, if we live as though we weren't caring people, when we really are, what happens to our hearts? What happens to our capacity to be in relationship with other people, with the earth, with the spirits of our times, the possibilities, the aspirations rising up in our children, the ideals, the dreams that are our purpose for being?